Let's see if we can get through this without my kids screaming. I'm gonna do the bones of the skull, and I've printed out the list, but I have divided it up into sections because it helps me. But this is my space. It's just me and old bones right here. Okay. Start with the frontal bone. And the coronal suture. And I don't know why I did this, but this is the supraorbital foramen. This is the infraorbital foramen. Okay, so then you have your parietal bones on each side, divided by the sagittal suture. The temporal bone that has this squamosal suture or squamous suture has your zygomatic process of the temporal bone, and just for extra, that's your temporal process of your zygomatic bone that makes your zygomatic arch. You have your mandibular fossa, where your mandible joins the skull. Let's see. External auditory meatus. Your mastoid process, and your styloid process. Your stylomastoid foramen is going to be on the bottom part. Let's see if I can get that. Oh, I don't have enough hands. It's going to be like a little groove. Hold on, let's see. Right in there. Your occipital bone, it's that big part in the back of your head, and that's your lambdoidal suture. Up inside of there, that part, and in here. Is your foramen magnum. There will be a big hole in there. And then your external occipital protuberance is that little notch right there. Oh. Your sphenoid bone is seen from the outside by your temporal bone. And on the inside, it makes that little butterfly shape all in this area. That holds your sella turcica. It has a lesser wing and a greater wing. In your sella turcica is your optic foramen. You have your foramen rotundum, foramen ovale is the oval one, and foramen spinosum. And towards the sella turcica is your foramen lucerum. Oh. This is your internal auditory meatus, and I believe for this skeleton that's your carotid canal. I don't think it's this part. I think it's that one. And your the big hole is for your jugular. Your jugular foramen. Okay, the ethmoid bone can be seen from the outside. It's going to be like, well, in your nose, in the back. But from the top here, these structures are part of it. You have your crista galli, little turkey flap, that ridge, and that splits the cribriform plate on each side. And then up inside the nose is your perpendicular plate. I guess on this one it would be this part. Goodness. Up in there. That's your nasal bone. That's your glabella. That is your vomer. That little thing that makes your nasal septum. Let's see. Let's do the eye sockets. Your orbital. You have the lacrimal bone and nasolacrimal bone are going to be in this area, and that's where your tears go in. You have a superior and inferior orbital fissure. Anterior nasal spine. I think I already did the zygomatic bone. Oh, goodness. Your palatine bone it's going to be hard to see on this guy. Let's see what we can do. I know it's towards the back of the soft palate. I know that I think all we have is the greater palatine foramen, and it's a larger, goodness. It's the larger opening in the back, but then there's a lesser palatine foramen as well. And then up more is your incisive fossa. Oh boy, Miss E, I hope I'm not making you sick. That's going to be up here. And then I really don't know how to show the middle and inferior conchae, but I know that they are above the palatine bone. And the inferior is the closest to the palatine bone, and the middle conchae, oh, well, it's more, I think it's more in this part. Be your inferior and middle conchae inside that structure. I don't know. I guess we'll have to count off. I don't know. Did I totally miss my mandible bone? I think I might have skipped that. Let's go over it again. That is your mandibular condyle, and the cornoid process, and the ramus is the flat, the mandibular notch. And I think we got everything. Glabella, internal, anterior nasal. I think we got everything. It's your whole maxilla. Yeah, I think that's everything.